And we're just a little crazy here on the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show, aren't we? Anyway, hey, good afternoon. Welcome to the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I wanted to share something about watching out for metrics and data that's supplied in social media. So I got a story to tell about something that was shared from MetricWise, and me being the data person I am. Of course, I went back and the engineer. Of course, I went back and read the original study that was done. And I got some news for you. Anyway, I'm going to talk about that today in our Metric Monday special programming for 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. And this goes for any business, to be any organization that this will apply to. And so I was in a meeting the other day, and I'm really sorry I'm late. First day of school with kids. Had to get them off, get all that done. And now we're kind of getting back there where we should be. And I went to a book thing and for helping me write my book. So got a lot of things on my plate. But I wanted to share with you because it's been really picking at me, to be honest with you, the idea of data. And I saw a couple things. So I'm going to share the whole scenario in a brief amount of time. I was at a meeting last week with a group of people, business people from around the Philadelphia area. And one of the leaders cited a citation from a study. It showed that Philadelphia was like the lowest ranked of these things and that and everything. What? Like, why is Philly lowest ranked? So, of course, that triggered my desire to read the study, because when people post stuff, a lot of times, to be honest with you, I don't believe it, right? At first glance, I don't look. I look when I do stuff for my museum, history, data, I look for 3 pieces of corroborating evidence that's made this truthful. And that's the same thing you should apply for metrics. If someone tells you, I did a metric in my business and this is what we're doing, you got to ask some questions like, how old is the data? Is it more recent, or are they looking back history? Is it pointing to what we're doing? Is it where's the cohort, what it is, and all that kind of stuff? So a couple of things I found out about the data. When I first looked at the data, I looked at it and there was something that really put a bee in my bonnet, if that's an old term, that I won't go into here, that I kind of told one of the guys, the managers of the thing, I says, this study was based on this, that, and the other thing. And I don't think we want to base our decisions or your decisions or whoever's decision based on that data. But then I also found I was reading the data. So I wrote it down. It was based on data from 1978 versus 1992. So when you look at the report, when you actually pull the 72 pages of the report, majority of the data is from studies from 1978 and 1992, and they extrapolated and did all that. And I go, well, one, you shouldn't be based on anything. The world has changed since 1992, and I'm really shocked because these PhDs, I love my PhDs. I work with them all the time, but sometimes they just there was even a reference to an article that was written or a paper done in 1930. I'm like, yeah, that's nice and everything, but everything's changed a lot since then. And the term of upward mobility, whatever it was, is different from what it was. Different from what it was in 1992, right? Everybody, we have remote work environment, all this kind of stuff. So before you go retweeting or reposting someone's data, kind of look and read the article before you do that, because you might be retweeting or reposting someone's metric or data or ranking or survey that may not be too modern, right? So I kind of said this, oh, by the way, this stuff's from 1992. The concept of what they're trying to do is spot on, but the data they're referencing to build the metric that they were building was old. So like, even if you have a business, let's say you have a team and someone wants to look at the metrics from last year, I'm going to tell you right now, last year's metrics are old. Data from last year is probably old. The way the world is changing, it's probably old, right? Your teams have evolved over time, and to look back that far, it's kind of hard to do. Maybe you can do it in baseball. Baseball looks at like what Babe Ruth did back. He was awesome. You're still trying to catch up to Babe Ruth, which is an amazing kind of thing. Just tells you the stats he had. But in business, be careful the metrics that people present to you and what you're going to measure. You say, well, this year, last year, well, maybe last year you didn't have a whole new sales engine, or you didn't have a Instagram presence, or maybe you didn't have like a new product line way of, maybe you weren't using Salesforce. Maybe, it's kind of hard to compare apples and oranges when we keep picking new fruit, right? So you got to be careful in the metrics when you do them in this activity, that you're not pulling metrics that are too far different from where you are today. I mean, you can do like how drastically different if you just ignore everything that happened. And a lot of statisticians like to ignore events in the world, right? They can say, "Oh, it's going down." Yeah, we had a pandemic. People work from home. They want different things now that weren't there before. They don't necessarily need certain things. So you have to be mindful when you use metrics where your references. And to be honest, you read the data. I like looking at least 3 points of data to say where I'm going. Like from an Agile Scrum perspective. Some people like this, some people don't. Let's take velocity. Measuring velocity and points or issues count. I do both. I look at both. I don't just concentrate on the number of issues done, and I don't commit it. I also look at points, and some people, I like points, but I like the two of them to give me a sanity check. Are we heading in the right direction? And the reason why I say this, you have to be careful that from a business point of view, that you're going to make business decisions and invest a lot of money and stuff in something that's based on old data that may not apply anymore. Like, let's take advertisement for example. Does it make sense to buy advertisement in newspapers? And maybe it does. Maybe you got a local paper that everyone in the local town reads. Okay, fine. But I don't know how many people actually get delivered to them the New York, some of these big newspapers anymore, even our local Inquirer and all that. My wife does it on Sundays. But, I don't know how often. Maybe it'll be on their website. I don't know. So I don't know how valuable the ad data is from that type of experience versus a more social media ad experience, right? Maybe different. Oh yeah, these are before. Or billboards. I had a billboard somewhere on this wall. There's a picture of a billboard I had for one of my companies that we had back in 2000. Everyone drove to work. Everyone reported into Philadelphia. So it made lots of sense. We were getting 60,000 hits a month on that website before this, right? But since the world has changed, I don't know necessarily so much a billboard advertising will get you as much as that did in the past. Though it is a good piece of your marketing plan, but it depends on what you're looking for. Looking for people to drive into work? Maybe they're all remote now. I don't know. You have to look at new avenues from which to reach those new audiences. So I just wanted to share that with you from a metric perspective. Please don't just repost stuff unless you actually read that, because a lot of people repost stuff. It doesn't make sense. Now, I'm going to give you one other tidbit that I noticed in Google. Well, I'm going to say it. Well, I already said the name. In their AI. So when I first researched it, it gave me the stuff that was very generic, and it referenced certain things that were in the report that I go, yeah, we don't want to. I mean, I don't know if you want to reference this report because it's very something. Excuse me. And it was very something. And later on in the day, when I went back and searched it again, the AI changed the response to what it was saying because there was more social media posts related to the rankings. So do not use, and I tell my kids and I teach in my class all the time, do not use the AI output that you get when you do a search engine search as your technical response. Because what you posted at that moment in time at 10 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock the next day, that AI response could be different. If you do post that data for your metrics or what you want to reference, put the date and time which you captured it. Because I'm telling you right now, AI is constantly changing the response it gives you on its website. Lesson learned. I saw that and I go, oh, you're just like your Google. So what it does is it looks at the algorithm in the search engine, and if there's a lot of social media that change the title of the article, which is referenced, or change some of the wording, it's going to reference that wording. If more people like that or follow that or view that thing, like in a newspaper headline, the AI is going to manipulate its AI response from what it did earlier in the day. So that's another little tidbit from a metric perspective, a data reference point here on our Metric Monday, where we talk about that. Be careful when you reference an AI generated piece of data. You have to go double check it because it changes it every time it looks at it. In most cases, I don't know if all the cases, but I would be a little skeptical, and I would make sure you check the references from which you got the data before you use that to base your business decisions on data, right? I'd go, okay, cool. Let me go make sure and confirm that that was the report and that was the study and that was the data. You got to make sure you're not in a continuous loop of the same data multiple times being regurgitated by the AI with other places, and then they just keep regurgitating it. You'd be surprised if you ever wanted to do something quick. Search a title, especially in some video program. You're going to see the same article saying the exact same stuff with 5 different titles. Sometimes they don't even bother changing the titles. And by doing that, the AI thinks, well, that must be truth because more than one person or more than one news agency is releasing that information. Therefore, it's valid data. And it's not, right? It's just one person's one reference point resaid 10 different times, which doesn't make it a valid reference point. You need at least 3 different conglomerating studies on some of this data. So I wanted to share that to you just because it's something I learned and looked at, and I just saw some people use the data that was dated from 1992, and they didn't really read it, but then they started talking about it, and they're very high level, and I'm like, you don't want to do that. You're better off paying for some new data or redoing the data. But I was really shocked at people. I'm not shocked. I'm kind of disappointed in the research scientists nowadays that they would just reference data from what's 1992, 2092. Holy crud. It is 1992. So 30 some odd years ago? It's a whole, I mean, unless they're talking about babies and what they are today, but then you got to study the babies anyway. So just be careful with the metrics. I just want to share that with you. Be careful what you cite as a thing. Read what it says. Is it relevant? Is it dated right? Is it in the same time frame that you're looking at? If it ain't today, and if it ain't data from this year, it probably isn't valid. Probably isn't any good to you. Do your own data analysis. With that, I'm going to wish you the best today on this Metric Monday. I just wanted to give you that heads up, things I learned by looking at AI, how AI changed the response it gave. So if you are going to reference something that AI did, and I tell my students, don't do it. Don't copy and paste what the AI tells you and copy and paste in your homework assignment I have for their technology class. Because it's probably going to be wrong. With that, I want to wish you the best. I want to wish you good luck today. I want to wish you a happy Monday and happy scrumming, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.